Hey guys, welcome to the Sea Planner podcast. My name is David. I'm your host. I'm sitting here with Daniel from All right. Hey guys, welcome to the Sea Plan. Hey guys, welcome to the Sea Planner podcast. My name is David. I'm your host. I'm sitting here with Daniel, a good friend of mine. He's a big and a great reason why the Sea Planner podcast came about. Do you remember that conversation we had back? Was it last year before the pandemic? We were at I think it was a art show, right?
Yeah, it was an art show at Flat Black. I think it was Janet. Damn it, Janet.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it was her art show, and we just kind of bumped into one another, and we started talking about uh, like creating this space and all this stuff, and we're talking about all the things that we need in order to do that that we thought we needed,
Right on.
and then we started talking about how we should start focusing more on what we have,
Yeah.
and calling that out on people, like what they have,
Yeah.
and I think that's how we kind of s- spat out the whole seed planner thing,
Yeah.
like planting
Well,
seeds.
that really came from you. Just I think I was telling Renee about conversations that we've been having, and then you said something about I'm just a seed planner, bro. I go around and I show people their potential, and then if
Mm,
I and you extend your hand to show them uh certain things to make them a little better. I don't know if that's
encourage them.
I don't know. I think kind of yeah, encouragement
Yeah,
and like moral support and all that good stuff.
yeah.
Because even just a good comment, like even something that you say, goes a long ways. And I
Hmm.
think during that moment, I needed a lot of that. And
Hmm.
you weren't hyping me up like yo, like you're the shit or anything, but
Hmm.
you were you were boosting my confidence. You were kind of telling me like whatever it is that you're doing, like you're on the right path,
Yeah.
and that kind of um asserted my direction, and I just kept going.
Hmm.
And I think after that, we sat down, we did the selected series. So if you guys want to catch a great conversation with Daniel, check our YouTube channel, and I'll set it in the description below. But yeah, like welcome, bro. Like, would you um want to tell everybody since that episode what you've been up to? Maybe a little recap of in between then and now.
Yeah, a lot has happened. The whole pandemic has happened.
Yeah. But you've been
uh,
you've been very busy helping a lot of people.
yeah. Well, what's crazy was when we did that episode, we were talking about like this collection that I was about to drop,
Mhm.
and literally like when I dropped it, the pandemic started.
Yeah, I remember that.
So it was a complete flop. Like I wasn't able to get, like the attention that I wanted,
Right.
because I was competing against toilet paper.
Exactly.
So it was tough, it was tough. But at the same time, I feel like the pandemic really pushed people to, being unemployed and stuff.
Uh-huh.
It pushed them to figure out, like, what is that seed that I have?
Yeah, it gave them a lot of time to reflect on themselves.
Yeah. And figure out, like, all right, like I got bills to pay, I
Mhm.
got things to do. Like, I have to figure out, I have to be creative and figure out what can I do with my time and my resources,
Mhm.
and make some money, you know?
Did you take some time off yourself and like kind of get in that fetal position and figure things out for a second? Because I mean, for me, I work at two different schools.
Mhm.
There's 600 students in one school, and there's a
Mhm.
thousand students in another. And that really it threw me for a loop because 1,600 students weren't around.
Mhm.
So in my head, I was like, dang, a lot of these kids come to school to get away from the house, the home problems, like the
Yeah.
domestic
Yeah.
violence, like to eat. Like a
Mhm.
lot of these kids only eat at school.
Yeah.
So that kind of that messed me up because um, that's the next generation. I feel like
Hmm.
I don't want it to be a lost one.
Yeah.
And that in my head, I think that was the hardest pill to swallow for me.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, my life didn't really change much on a personal level.
Hmm.
Work didn't stop, and
Same here. Didn't stop either.
it didn't stop, and every my work, like, it didn't stop for nobody. So we still had a full staff going on, and then for Canvas, the screen printing business, um, like I was saying, like, a lot of people were figuring out, what can I do,
Yeah.
and they needed some direction,
Right.
and that's when they came to me.
Really?
And they're like, hey, like, I want to start up this business. I want to start doing this. So they were contacting me for logo designs, and I got a lot of business because I felt like people were pushed, to the idea of, like, um, I can't rely on a big company. I
Right.
have to start, selling tacos. I need to start, doing this on the side and figuring things out. And
Hmm.
that's where I was able to help people, figure out what that niche is for them.
Do you think um, your business got bigger because of the work you were doing, or because I think for me personally, looking from the outside in, I think your business got busier because of the person that you are.
Mm,
Because like when you have a conversation with somebody, this is all just me speaking for myself.
mhm.
Um, you give them the time of day, and you give them a point of reflection, so they leave with the seed. They always leave with the seed, even if it's like, "Hey, what's up, Daniel?" And it's like a 5, 10 minute conversation.
Yeah.
Like you do that, bro. Like
Yeah.
it's a gift, I think.
Mm. Thanks, bro.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Yeah, I definitely try to, challenge people's thoughts and ideas, in a loving way, of course,
Yeah.
never to discourage them, um, but just to kind of motivate them and figure out, have them walk away with something that gives them sort of a direction on what their next move is.
Where does that come from? I know that you where like for instance, you weren't like this all the time. This type of like very reserved and only like I guess what I'm trying to say is like you're a man of few words, but when you do say something, like it's
Hmm.
impactful. Did that Was that you all the time, or did this come from like being around certain people? Did you
Yeah.
have like mentors or
Yeah, dude, I was just thinking about the other day, like, I used to dream about cutting off my tongue. I know it's weird, but it's because I would end the day looking back and figuring out how many things came out of my mouth that were pointless, meaningless, hurtful, and just really discouraging to a lot of people around me, including myself. So I would, like,
dang, that's a pretty vivid
yeah,
like
so I would, at night, I would literally just be like so frustrated, like, about what I would say, you
about
know,
what you said throughout the
throughout the day.
trajectory of your day.
Yeah, and like the people that I hurt, the way I put myself down, it just wasn't uplifting.
Right.
So I learned to bite my tongue. I learned to, like, really think about what I'm saying before I say it. Like, just stopping and think to see if like, what are these words gonna do to this person? Understanding the power of words
Yeah.
and then using that power wisely. Because I used to think I was funny, and I used to clown like hard, like clown
Yeah.
on people hard. And one time I was clowning on my friend who's kind of heavy set, and his cousin, who I obviously wasn't talking to, came to me and she's like, "Hey, you're very insensitive." And I was like, "What? What do you mean? Like, why? Like, I don't even remember talking to you, or saying anything to you."
Yeah.
And then she's like, "Well, you were making fun of my cousin, and I'm bigger than him. So everything you were saying to him was
Dang.
hitting me,
Yeah.
and I took offense of it. So I was like, damn, you know, like, it made me aware, like, it's not always you, it's them, it's them, it's the people we don't know that are listening. You know, especially um, I used to teach kids,
Mm-hmm.
and that really taught me to understand like these are little sponges. You know, you gotta be careful with them. You gotta be careful with what you do, what you say, and just understanding like you're a role model. You
Mm-hmm.
know, whether you know it or not. You know, but you get to choose if you want to be a positive role model or a negative role model. You choose whatever role model you want to be. But people are always going to be looking in your direction
Yeah.
in one way or another. Um, whether it's business owners, designers, you know, um, all that stuff, you know,
Just with family.
even just with family. So it's really important, you know, and I'm not perfect. I'm not perfect. I lack in a lot of different things. Um, but it's also like understanding,
For
like,
sure.
you know, like I got areas to grow in, and like,
Having that awareness though, like I think um that's like from the AA programs and stuff, like admitting like, hey, like I'm messing up, and,
mm,
and if you're constantly trying to just having that uh, discipline
mm,
to watch what you're saying and stuff like that, it goes a long ways
yeah,
for sure.
um, yeah, like I've been sober for 8 something years,
Mhm.
and I never went to an AA meeting.
Yeah.
I was supposed to. If the court asked, I did. um, but yeah, like what helped me a lot through that time was just making that decision and standing firm on it. And
Was that after you were confronted by that by your friend's cousin?
that was before. That was before I was already kind of like changing my.
But those things helped you, like that brave person that stood up and told you, like, hey, you're like
Yeah,
that also affirmed the fact that you were messing up and you need to kind of steer away from that kind of lifestyle.
that happened when I was actually like doing okay. Like I
Really?
was doing better, but like a lot better. But it was just one of those things. It's like you're constantly like I love the whole sea planter thing because like a plant, you know, like you eventually know what is good and what isn't.
Mhm.
And seasons in life, like seasons of weather tell you, you know, when it's time to shed things off. And as you mature in life, you know, you go through these seasons and you're like, you know what? I can't be doing this no more. I can't be doing that no more. I can't. And you'll start learning uh, who you are by what you're not.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Like, I I say that um, like so I do a lot of self-reflection,
Uh huh.
and my mirror is the Bible. So the Bible, the more I look into it, the more I know who I am and who I'm not.
Right.
You know, just how the way you would look in a mirror and you would see that like let's say you're shaving and you're trying to, you know, get that perfect lineup. The more you look into that mirror, the more perfect that line will be. But the less time you spend looking in that mirror, like if you just had it like 2 seconds to shave, you probably cut yourself. You probably leave all these things that didn't leave you clean the way you wanted to. So it's like really taking that time to self-reflect. And whatever that mirror is for you, like just make sure you're taking that time to like look within yourself and figuring out what is and what isn't you.
For sure, it's like you're also looking at the people around you. You're also looking at the environments that you're in. You're
Yes.
also looking that goes it's a full circle, right?
Yeah.
It's just not just looking at to grow within yourself, but to grow spiritually, or having the people around you also feed you to help you grow as well.
Yeah.
You can't just have like people that you used to drink with or party with continuously be around you if you're trying to how like your mission or your objective is to do something positive. Like that's gonna slow you down.
Yeah. Um, I like that you said that because someone said this like in a like Instagram meme or whatever. It was like, uh, you've never seen your like your face. You've never seen like what your face is. You've only seen reflections of it, you know? And I think it's important what you reflect, and you can only see that, like, you have to see that in every mirror, in every person. Like, when I look at you, how does my reflection of myself, like, what are you, like, what do you say about me when I walk away?
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, what do you see in me? Like, you get me?
That's like my portrayal of who you are. Like it's
Exactly.
just
And
the
that's how you can see.
like, oh, I had this interaction with this person. Is this person gonna turn around and talk smack about me because I like not merely because not just because maybe that person's a bad person, but because you're like you affected that person in a bad way. Like
Yeah. It's like
it
they
was a
say,
bad interaction, you know.
it's like they say, like, you can't call yourself great.
Mhm.
And you know, you can, but you're self-proclaimed.
Yeah.
There's a lot more weight when someone else calls you great.
Mhm.
And that's the reflection.
Gotcha.
Like, I can think I'm this, but what am I looking into, and what is reflecting back at me? That's saying who I am,
Mhm.
you know? And that helps a lot when you hang around with people. And it's good to have positive people around you that love you, care about you, and all that stuff. But I think anyone should be able to walk away from an interaction with you and be like, this guy's a cool guy.
Mhm.
You know, whether he's whatever you want to say, like whatever people would say about him, like I honestly don't like when people talk bad about other people. Like, I try to stop it real quick,
Yeah.
and the reason why is because it taints my perspective.
But it also like it smears on you. It
Yes.
like it gets stuck on you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, it smears your perspective of that
Of
person.
that
Yeah,
person.
for sure.
Yeah. And and sometimes, like, um, sometimes you can't avoid it,
Mhm.
you know, and you have that interaction with that person, and you're kind of blown away because you're like, the heck, this is not what they said about you. Like, I got along with you very, like, well, like, what the heck? You get it? You get what
Yeah,
I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the beginning of the pandemic, and you were talking about how people came to you to get their business going. They
Hmm.
didn't want to because they were low on funds, or because might they might have a dream, but their dream might not be as big as what their financial situation might let them dream of.
Hmm.
So they reached out to you somehow, some way, thinking that, oh, Daniel's a homie, he's gonna help me, and the quality of his work is great. I think it's great. Um, so how was that? Just the growth on that, like the just sitting back and looking at how much work you put in during the pandemic. You didn't stop, dude. Like you just kept going, like
Hmm.
project after project after project. Even I went to go help you do some work. That that just shows the character as well. Like what 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 can you name some of the projects that you worked on? Just give some shout outs to all these great artists and creatives and hustlers out there.
um, yeah, I think I would love for them to tell their stories, you know,
Right.
but like the Hermano Flower Shop, I think that's a good example of, like, you know, people that worked in like a corporate business that
Mm-hmm.
were, you know, pushed to figuring out a different thing, and they pretty much did it by themselves. I'm not going to take any credit there. Um, but they reached out to me, and I helped them out with their stuff. But I think what I really liked about the recently, I had this girl. She hit me up and she was like, "Oh, hey, can you give me like pricing on, you know, your stuff, like for work and stuff, for like logos and all that stuff?" And I was like, "I can't, like, cause I can't give you like a cookie cutter price."
Mm-hmm.
And that's because I try to understand where everyone's stepping stone is. Like, where are you at?
But do you just text them that, or do you actually like face to face, like give them that reasoning, like actually explain it to them, or do you just say, "Hey, I can't."
Oh no, yeah. There's, I tell them, like, No, I would love to, sit down with you and figure out, where you at and what
Mm.
can I actually do to help you. I think we talked about that in the last
Yeah,
podcast where I was like, I really want to help people. I don't want to just offer them my services. It's like I really want to figure out where you're at.
that's great that you're re-emphasizing on that, because there's designers that are probably watching this
Hmm.
and don't know how to approach maybe a client, or don't know how to approach the pricing, and a lot of the time maybe the work might not reflect the price that you get. You might work your ass off and maybe not get the money that is accordingly for it, but the experience of working with that person
Hmm.
was payment enough. Whatever, like, there's this saying, like, whatever's yours is gonna be yours no matter what.
Hmm.
So if you go out of your way and help somebody and nothing comes to you, eventually whatever is meant for you is going to be, regardless.
Hmm.
So I mean, and that helps me in an everyday sense, where I don't do good things for people because I'm expecting something. I do it because I know it's gonna help them, and that if whatever good comes my way, it was just meant for me. If something bad happens along the way, then maybe I was supposed to learn a lesson, and that's okay. Like,
Yeah.
I don't ever frown on like whatever situation might be, whether it was like a business or a relationship. I just take it for what it is,
Hmm.
and grow from it. That I think that goes with what you're saying about looking in the mirror and saying, like, oh, maybe next time I won't be so open to being vulnerable in a sense. Like, you might put your foot in your mouth. Like, for
Yeah.
instance, me, sometimes I get excited and like tell people, hey, you should do this, or you should blah blah blah, and then it's like, yo, bro, like, you're stepping over some lines.
Mm.
So then I learned to really, and I've been pretty good at that. Like, from when I started with the seed plan, or with the selected series,
Hmm.
um, I was a bro. I was like a freight train. I was like, oh, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
And then life kind of showed me, like, hey, there's times, seasons, and there's episodes for certain things. So I'm very content. I'm not saying that I'm content within like what I'm doing, but I'm content that things are the way they are right now. Like, I'm happy with what's going on. Like, there's a lot of things in my life that are falling into place that I didn't know that they would ever.
Hmm.
So yeah, like, God is good, bro, all the time. So I just enjoying the process, the growth. Like,
Hmm.
you can't water something and expect it to grow the next day.
Hmm.
And especially with like a community, like, there's certain things, there's so many different obstacles. Um, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it just goes a long ways when you think that Rome can be built in a day, and it really isn't.
Yeah.
It really isn't that way.
Yeah.
Especially when you're trying to build a community of like artists that um think not think alike, but have the same aspirations.
Hmm.
Like, I just had a podcast with Alec, and he has the same idea of creating a community, or an environment, or a studio, or an academy, or school, or
Yeah.
community center, to where everybody goes and like grows. Like,
Hmm.
everybody waters each other,
Hmm.
and like, oh, Daniel's in there doing all this screen printing and showing people the inks and
Yeah.
screens and the light machine, or, to cure
Hmm.
whatever, how to dry correct whatever.
Yeah.
And then somebody else goes in there and teaches Daniel how to do something. Like, it's just
Yeah.
all everybody's doing um what they love to do. Like, a department for screen printing, all that good stuff,
Hmm.
for photography, for podcasts, for whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
Just an artist
Yeah.
hub or community where everybody grows, bro.
Yeah.
I think it was cool what you said the last interview that we had about you naming it Canvas,
Hmm.
because it's just such a cool thing, like,
Yeah.
for you to be like, yeah, it's like a blank canvas, and everybody goes in there and does their thing. It's like
Yeah.
amazing.
During this pandemic, I learned that, you know, uh, a location is a a luxury. You know, I've noticed a lot of people,
Oh yeah, for sure.
you know,
Yeah.
working from home. You know, and I think the pandemic really showed us to see what we don't need. You know,
Mhm.
what we don't need, what's really essential. You know, and and how to make stuff out of what we have.
Mhm.
And that's kind of what we started with the the Sea Planet conversation at Flat Black, was more like, let's not talk about what we don't have.
Right.
Let's talk about what we do have,
Mhm.
and let's do something with that.
Right.
And I love that focus, because with the homies Alec and Adam and Arturo and EJ, like, we've been doing this kind of like we call it the culture corner.
Mhm.
And what we're doing is we're kind of bouncing back ideas. We're constantly encouraging one another, and like, we're doing this, you know. And we're outside of Everbloom. There's no, like, Everbloom don't even have a building yet. It's under construction. So we're outside in lawn chairs, you know, and we're chopping it up, and we're doing this community where we're constantly uplifting one another,
That's
showing
great.
people new things, you know. The other day we were there and we were painting shoes, you
Saw
know.
that.
The other day, but we're constantly like, uh, just spitting back ideas, you know, about, because Adam and Arturo have a clothing brand called Heaven's Demons.
Mhm.
Um, EJ and Matt have their Everbloom coffee shop. Um, Fernie has his barbershop. So like, we're always constantly talking about how to, you know, build one another up,
Yeah.
and and
Pull each other out of the bucket.
yeah. And again, we don't have these things,
Right.
but we're able to teach one another, and it's just a willing heart, you know,
Yeah, for sure.
the willing heart that people should
But
have.
but see, we do like. I guess you're right when you say we don't have a location, but we also don't have the ability to get together as a community. You guys have that willing heart to go out of your way, but I'm saying like for those that
Mm.
are on that are teetering back and forth where
Yeah,
they want to take that leap, like
yeah,
people like you or EJ, um, they have to be more tangible. Like
mm.
people have to be able to like be like you guys aren't putting. Are you guys putting that out there like
Well,
on your Instagram or like, hey, come to Everbloom and like hang out with us?
nah,
See what I mean? Like
yeah,
you guys have that your community. If there was a place where like right now we're obviously in a pandemic and so
hmm,
like no one's
to
going out. No,
welcome people.
yeah. So
Yeah,
I think if you open the doors,
hmm,
people will come.
yeah, yeah,
Imagine a collective where everybody pitches in, a place where everybody is a sublease has a sublease,
hmm,
and to be in there you have to be working. You have to be actually working,
yeah,
and but not just that, not only working for yourself, but working for your partner, like your people in there as
hmm,
well. So it's like a collective of businesses that work with each other to grow.
yeah,
So then, I don't have this month's rent. Like it's all right. Let's hustle to figure it out and let's pay rent.
yeah,
And by having 6, 7, 8, 9, maybe 10 people within that space,
hmm,
the $4,000 or $3,000
hmm,
for the rent is not gonna be as much. You know
yeah,
what I mean?
hmm.
So I think it's possible, but you have to have that willing
The
heart.
willingness, yeah. Yeah, man. It's funny. The when I went on selected series, I don't know if you remember. Like, I was nervous.
Mhm.
I was like, dude, I don't want to talk. I don't want to do nothing. Like, I was so nervous. I
Yeah,
was like,
you're pacing back and forth.
yeah, I was breaking this paper clip. I like demolished it.
Yeah.
Um, and then after that,
Julius
like,
did a great job with hiding
yeah, I know
hiding
my
that.
fidgeting. And but once you invited me to come on here, dude, I was excited. I
Mhm.
was like, I got something to say. I got something, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And one of the things, I was like thinking, like it'd be cool to talk about really wanting something, you know? Like, the song by J. Cole says, how does it go? The intro, do you wanna be happy? You know, when he does that,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like the question: do you wanna be? Like, do you want it? And I just think there's so many people that want things that they don't pursue, you know, because they don't really want it or they're too comfortable that the want isn't prioritized, right?
Yeah.
And so you're hit with the pandemic, and then you're like, oh, I've been wanting to start this,
Yeah.
and now I have no option
But to start it.
but to start something, and might as well do the something that I've been thinking about for years.
You think that really came across for people and it sparked?
For some people, many people, I believe it did, and I want to continue to believe that it will. You know, I want to continue to see people start this whole
Yeah.
entrepreneurship mindset where they start pursuing, you know, their passions, their dreams, and their goals, and just want to see it happen. You know, um, but I think it's that question, like,
Do you want to be happy?
do you want to, like, how bad do you want to, like, because it takes that, you know, like it takes the want, and then it takes the, I think the want leads to the movement,
Mm-hmm.
right? Like, I want to get up. You have to want to get up enough to like actually start getting up, you know. But if you don't have that want or that desire and you're just comfortable where you're at, like, if I'm just comfortable sitting down here, like, it's easy for me not to want to get up. But once you're faced with, you know, some sort of pressure, that will push your want. Like, okay, now I really want to get up. You know?
So do you think being in a position of always a constant being uncomfortable or being in a position where you have pressure is good?
Um, yes and no. Um, I think once you get to where you want to be, you can be you can be content. You can be content because contentment comes good is good when it allows you to focus more on helping others.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, I already reached my dream, I already reached my goals. You know, I'm gonna try to stay there, stay successful. You know, and I'm gonna help you get successful. And I'm not so self-driven no more. Now I'm more like wanting to see you grow.
And how do you stay successful?
That is the $1 million question. That
'Cause-
is literally, everybody talks about how to get successful,
Mhm.
right? There's so many YouTube inspirational videos, but no one really talks about staying successful.
Right.
And to me, my way is staying true to your convictions.
Okay.
You know, like, what were the convictions that you created to make you successful? You know,
Are those things constantly evolving though?
well,
'Cause
they're constantly evolving, but there's certain ones that you
they're
have to stay firm on.
yeah.
You know,
Mhm.
and I think it's important to keep that crucial, and also knowing, um, know the self-reflecting,
Yeah.
knowing what is and what isn't, because like Canvas, for instance, um, there's a lot of times I close it. I close maybe Canvas like 4 times a year, and the reason why I do that is because I see it developing into something I never wanted it to be. So, like, I have to chop, you know, the tree down now, because, like, why would I want to build on this foundation when it's no longer the foundation that I ever wanted it to be? So I'll shut it down and recalibrate, you know, and then, like, all right, now I'm in full control again. Now I have what I wanted it to be, and that's how I remain successful to what I want my success to be.
You don't want to lose control of the thing that you had your objective, like your basically when it gets to a point where it's something that you're not controlling, you shut it down.
It's not so much control, it's more direction.
Right, but if it's you're controlling a certain direction, like
Oh yeah, I'm controlling the direction, but like once it's, yeah, like,
obviously you're not gonna like physically control a certain path, but
yeah.
if you see it steering from what you initially wanted
Mm.
it to be, you
I'll
shut
give
it
you a
down.
good analogy. trees, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, when they start growing the wrong way, what do gardeners do?
They trim them.
Trim them. They cut, no matter how thick the branch is, no matter how big it is, like they'll just chop that thing down because they understand this is gonna grow in the wrong direction to the point where it might fall.
Mm-hmm.
My whole tree will fall. So I'm going to cut this off. And that's how you remain successful. Like knowing the direction you're headed in and then cutting off the things that don't align to that. And just, but you have to, it's like that mission statement. That's why people have it like, placed above certain things where like they see every day because it's that constant reminder. This is my mission. And if my business or my identity doesn't tie to that, then there's an issue. Either I have to update my mission
Mm-hmm.
or I have to change things about what's happening here. So I think it's that self-reflecting, knowing who you are, knowing who you're not, and being willing to prune what isn't.
So right now, what direction is Canvas Nonfiction heading towards?
On Canvas, I want to focus more on designing and helping people,
Okay.
and do less of the manufacturing part, which is like the screen printing, all that stuff. I want to start either building up a team or directing people to local businesses like, Blue Hill Studios, Palm Valley, like instead of me trying to do everything because it's hard, it's like I can help them become successful by giving them that. And I just want to focus on the designer and the consultation, if you will, of sitting down with people and figuring out what they want and how I can actually help them.
You would do all the hard work for them, for the studios and stuff, for the shops, or because you're talking about directing them to get their work done.
Hmm.
But so you'd just be a consultant, charge them for a consultant, like a consultant fee? It would,
Consultant, designer, just design. The, as a personal reason, I would love to, continue. What is it? Work from home. What is the other word for it? Just work from home. Like
yeah,
work from anywhere.
from anywhere.
I can travel and just, FaceTime somebody and like, work on their design, web page design, stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
where I don't really have to be locked down to a specific office
Okay.
or location, and I can help people nationally, globally, like,
Just have a hotspot and work
yeah,
at it
and
anywhere.
just work from anywhere. One,
From
it allows me to travel. Two, it helps me to help everyone, but it's having a solid team
Mm-hmm.
or reliable sources that I can lead my clients to. So if you hit me up, hey, I want some embroidered hats,
Gotcha. I
like,
getcha.
and be like, oh, go check out Palm Valley,
Mm-hmm.
and that's how you can point people to the right direction. It takes a lot of um, unselfishness,
Of course.
to do that, but I think it's gonna be great at the end of the day.
I think that's a great way. That's a success story, bro.
Yeah,
Because you're being unselfish.
yeah. So that's the direction for Canvas. I'll just be Daniel Nevaeh, designer, and
So
then
you're
yeah,
switching up to that.
yeah, and then I'll see what happens.
Starting now.
No, no. Unfortunately, it's not something I can move right away
Right.
because you know
You have to
people.
build a team, like you said. You have to build
It's
the a good foundation.
it's a team, and then there's like the loyalty. I guess people have. Like um,
Feeling safe with what you do.
exactly. Yeah. So it's like, all right, I want to keep doing this until you feel comfortable
Mm-hmm.
to move forward with somebody else. And it's
Is there a way for you to tell them like, hey, I'm gonna design everything. We're gonna get this stuff done here,
yeah.
and look, this is a quality or this is what's coming from. So now, um, like this is where we're outsourcing it to. Like, getting your clients to
Hmm.
understand where the product's coming from,
Yeah.
so that if something goes bad or if they want to refer anybody else, like,
Yeah. And there's still like personal growth when it comes to that too,
mm-hmm.
for my own self. Like, um, uh, it's unselfish, right, to do that. But sometimes I get in the way. Like I want to do that, but there's nothing like creating something from begin to the end, you know?
Yeah,
Like
it's
it's
your
such
baby.
a beautiful
Yeah.
process to witness. And once I get involved, it's really hard for me to disconnect at times. And it's not so much because, you know, I want, you know, to do business with, I want you to do business with me. It's like more like it's my
You have
baby now.
you have an emotional
I
tie
have
to
an
it.
emotional attachment.
And even if you're not like hands on,
Hmm.
you're still thinking of ideas like for that
Yeah.
project or like yeah, I hear what you say.
It's so hard for me to let go, like let go of things, like projects and stuff like that. That was probably my biggest thing growing up, like with Canvas, was learning how to let go because I would take ownership, you know,
Mhm.
like I would want to see the business grow in a certain direction, and I would take ownership, and I would put too much input and too much thought into it, and it would burden me. So I slowly had to learn, like, hey,
I feel what you're saying.
this ain't my baby, this is his baby.
Mhm.
You know, gotta let go. And it was, it's been a nice, it's been a nice lesson, and I've learned that the hard way. But I'm grateful that I did. So nonfiction is my baby, and that's where um, I'm really able to spoil my baby, and you know, really stay firm to my convictions and not allow anyone to really, you know, mess with it.
Yeah.
That's my baby. And what I'm doing with my baby, nonfiction, is I started a new collection.
Uh-huh.
Um, but more importantly, I want to talk about a new in-house photographer that I could consider like now my team, like my first partner, if you will, Omar. Yeah, dude. Uh, I've since the last couple of shoots,
Congratulations.
I was telling him like, bro, like you get it, dude. You understand my vision and you know how to translate that perfectly. You know, he's so like the best person to work with. Like
Absolutely.
he knows how to make my models comfortable. He knows like he really knows how to talk to them. He knows how to like he worked with my niece. My niece loved him, and so he really knows how to like make everything comfortable, and he knows how to translate my vision. And he's patient with me because like remember what Julius was talking about, like I'm very
Mhm.
specific about what I
Yes.
want. So Omar's really really patient with me.
And I feel like when you tell him what you want, um, he delivers. Like
Oh yeah,
he's like on the same wavelength as you.
yeah,
So it's kind of cool that you guys mesh like that.
yeah,
Especially because Omar's such a great guy,
yeah.
and he deserves to for his work to be out there. Like
Mhm.
whenever he makes something, I feel like he might not get his what he deserves. Like I think he's so underrated.
Mhm.
I believe like he's probably out here.
Mhm.
You know, he stands alone with just a handful of videographers and
Yeah,
photographers because he has that eye, man.
yeah. He really
He's
does.
really talented, and I'm glad you have him on your team, bro.
Yeah. First team member, I guess. Like legit team member. I try to grow with people, but I don't know. There. I think I always try to.
I love
Um,
his work, bro. I love his
I
work.
love Omar's work, dude. I always try to, you know, want the best for you.
Yeah.
So it's hard to build a team when I want you to succeed in your own thing.
Mhm.
So when I take, you know, great, you know, fashion people, designers, into consideration to take it into my team, and I see like you have so much power to do your own thing. Like you being on with nonfiction, it's just me holding you back. Like you should pursue what because you got something there, you know,
Yeah.
and that's why it's hard for me. So Omar, it's the same thing. I want him to grow. I want him to grow, but he's gonna outgrow me one day. But for now, he's on my team.
That's funny.
um,
I'm sure there's in like inside information about how that went down. Um, but I'm very glad that
yeah,
that's happened, and I can't wait to see more of your guys' work. You have a new. I saw you guys were like uh,
Yeah.
taking some photos of. I saw some glimpses of what's to come.
Yeah.
It was that him working with you? Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, that one was that the startup of that was crazy. It felt like back to that question, do you wanna, you know? I felt like I was being tested. Like how bad do you want this? 'Cause things kept like getting chaotic. Things just kept falling like and I'm like, all right, like this could either mean two things. Either God wants me not to do it
Mhm.
or I'm really, really supposed to do this and I'm just being tested, you know? And I felt like it was something I had to do. So I was like, nope, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna figure this out.
That's cool.
And yeah, we ended up figuring it out. So Omar Omar was there, helped me shoot the video. We'll be taking some photos in the near future for it. Our friend Jordan did our dancing and modeling for us too. Jordan Funky, do you know
Mhm.
who she is?
Yeah.
Yeah, she did it. Um, and then we shot it at Hermano Flower Shop. So I'm super excited for it.
That's cool. You have a great team that like Jordan's really she's a great dancer.
Hmm.
She's a professional dancer actually. Um, she's probably been dancing her whole life.
Yeah,
You have Omar, great photographer. Your design stuff is wonderful. And then you have Caesar that gets down with the flowers.
yeah.
Was that incorporated as well?
So there's actually we ended up okay. So Hermano and I ended up collaborating before the grand opening
Mm-hmm.
for some merch. Um, but things happened so quick that I was never able to like promote it because they sold out like in a week.
Like that.
So I was never able to promote it or anything like that. But we're gonna do another run, and I'll be promoting that in the near future as well. That's with Hermano and Cesar and Adrian, and yeah, they killed it. The shirts came out amazing. Our friend Katie did the embroidery on them.
I haven't been able to go over there, but that would have been my like. I heard they sold out, so I, w- I want
Yeah,
to get one of those.
yeah, they're coming out very soon. Actually, on Valentine's Day. That's the goal in a perfect world.
Is that with what color are those? Those green shirt, those like olive color shirts, or are you? Is that not?
We're doing new colors because all the sold out.
Oh, really?
The green, the white, and the black sold out. So we'll be introducing new colors um, of that. So people that got the old colors and want new colors, they'll get new colors. And people that missed out, then hey, there's some new colors for
Hey,
you.
get in there, man.
Yeah,
Mojave Flea Market.
Mojave Flea Market. So I'm gonna talk about the Love You collection.
You want to talk about the? Go ahead, man. Let us know a little bit more about the Love You collection.
So we're working on a new collection. I actually changed the name recently. I'm calling it the Love Story,
Okay.
and it's kind of just to kind of play with the true story. Um, sharing people's stories, like Micah's story. So I changed the name to the Love Story, and I want to tell people about uh, what love is. What actually no, hold on. This one, dude, is like I'm having such a hard time like summarizing what it is because it means so much. It's always like the hard part for me, you know?
Mhm.
Like summarizing what something is when there's so many layers, so much passion behind it.
Well, break it down. What's the catalyst? Like, what's the thing that has the fire, the engine going?
Okay,
What got you?
I'll start off with this. So, uh, a couple months ago, I started getting into customizing shoes,
Mhm.
and it just started from me wanting to make my niece some shoes, and I really wanted to be something for her to like keep and cherish forever. So I did these Jordan ones, and I didn't do nothing crazy. There was just some Jordan 1 mids, and they came with the white tongue, and the white tongue was driving me nuts because it was a black toe, white tongue. So I decided to paint the tongue black, because I didn't want to do the white toe because that's just Chicago one, and I didn't want to do that. So I painted the tongue black, and I created a custom tag for her that says "Love You" with the Nike swoosh, and on the back of it, I put 1 Corinthians 13:8, which is "Love never fails." So I wanted to create this for her, as obviously a token of my love for her, but also like something that she can keep forever, and keeping that as a reminder, like love never fails. And I started customizing shoes, and that kind of became like my signature, I guess. I would put the tags on the shoes and let the customers remove it or keep it on if they wanted to. Um,
On top of the original
on
tag.
top of the original tag.
Okay.
So it was just like a tearaway tag. And on Christmas, before Christmas, we did a little gift exchange. And my homie Pancho um, got me, and he made me a custom rug. And the custom rug was of the Love You logo. And it was his first rug. He did it for me, and he put that logo on it. Dude, I almost cried. I did cry. So I freaking loved it, and
What a nice gesture.
super nice, bro. So I just felt like I had to do something with this logo, like bigger, because the custom sneaker community, I don't promote it as much. I don't really talk about it as much, but it's a big passion of mine. Um, and I don't have to even promote it as much because like the community itself already knows.
Yeah.
And yeah, but I felt like, all right, I gotta do something with this, because once I posted the picture of the rug, people were like, oh, where can I get one? Where can I get one?
Dude, I hit up Pancho and I was like, hey, let me.
But they wanted the Love You. They wanted the specific Love You rug, and I was like, dang, okay, I gotta do something with this. And it's been heavy on my heart for a while now to create something in regards to love, because I have this whole theory on love. So I wanted to talk about it, and I was like, okay, this is perfect. This is so perfect. Because again, it's my love for custom shoes, which is a materialistic thing, right? But it was for
It stemmed from the love of your niece.
love for my niece. So
Hmm.
it has like this. It's an expression. It's a. We can love things, but we can also, the things that we love, we can use that to express a love for someone else, you know. And so that was kind of like the beginning of it. And I was like, there's still so much, like the scripture on the back was kind of tied to my theory, of love never fails, is one of my like greatest favorite Bible verses. And the reason why is because I believe that Jesus is love. So Jesus never fails. Simple as that. That's how you replace it. Um, but I also believe that we should love God and love one another. Those are the top two commandments, if you will. And it says love one another the way you want to be treated. I think it's like the golden rule, right?
Yes.
But in another verse, I don't know the number, but Jesus says, love love your neighbor the way I loved you. And it showed me like this this bar, you know,
Okay.
because sometimes we don't love ourselves. If you see what I eat, you see how much exercise I do, you see the things that
You mistreat yourself.
I mistreat myself. So that shows that I don't love myself as much, you know. So Jesus kind of sets the bar of like, all right, I should love him. I should love you the way Jesus loves me, the way Jesus loves you, and that's laying down your life. And that's the unselfish. Like, I'm going to I'm going to love you for you and for the best you. Like, I want you to grow. I want you to be the best version of yourself. No tie to me. All about you. That's love.
That's a great way to put it.
Yeah. And when you do that, like when you just genuinely love people and do things with love, I can see why it doesn't fail, because you're it's it's so attractive, you know, to care about people. And then once you care about someone, it's so easy to carry on. It's like when you go to Starbucks and the person in front of you buys your drink, and you're just like, I'm gonna buy the person behind me drinks. And then
Right, that
you
little
find out they
chain.
got like 6 drinks. You're like,
That's okay.
that's okay. Yeah, because it's so attractive and it's something so easy. Like it's contagious, you know.
Right.
And that's why I know it won't fail. Because even though you don't want anything to come in return to you, you know that it's going into the universe and it's just gonna make the world a better place. And in times like this, and
That's what we
actually
need
in all the times, there's
all the times.
all the times, all the times there's we always need love. And I feel like the more we're able to show it, no matter how much the world tries to tell us not to be
Mm-hmm.
selfish, to be self-driven, all that stuff, it's like no, we gotta keep this attitude of caring for one another, you know? And when you're passionate about something, well, you know, my brand is nonfiction. And what it talks about pretty much is being the true version of yourself, right? So this collection is more like a reminder of that you are loved, the true version of yourself. Like when you look in the mirror and you see the things that you don't like and you feel down and low, you are loved. When you look in the mirror and you all high and mighty and whatever and you feel great about yourself, you're loved. And that's the reminder of like, hey, no matter where you're at in your life, you are loved. And it's also like when I have it on, it's a reminder, but when you read it, it's kind of like me telling you, right? Love you. And I like how it doesn't say I love you because I love you so romanticized. Love you is more like that uplifting, like care about you, you know? And and I say it's a word that or a phrase that's really hard to describe, you know, but easy to express. And I think the way we express it is all based off relationship, right? The way you love your wife is different than the way you love me, right? And that's based off the relationship you have with her. So when God says love your neighbor, it's pretty much saying love everyone. So love everyone, but your relationship is going to define how you express that love. Whether it's a smile on your face, a good morning, open the door for someone, or a kiss or a hug, that's all based on relationship. But we all supposed to love, you know? And that's kind of what I want to, you know, put out there is love and encourage people to not be afraid of loving what they do. Like be passionate about what you believe in. Like be passionate about it. No fear, whatever it is. If you want to go on Twitch and play video games, if you want to, paint, whatever, like be passionate, do it. And because you'll see like Jordan, for instance, she loves to dance, like loves it, right? She's a professional dancer. What is she doing with that though? You want to know? She's a board member of this organization, nonprofit organization called She Is Powerful,
Okay.
which helps women who have been sexually abused, and she helps empower them through dance.
That's wonderful.
Like, there's always avenues that you can create or that can be created by doing what you love, to help other people, to love other people. And I think it's amazing. Like Pancho, we were talking about earlier, he does this raffle,
Mm-hmm.
you know, this raffle stuff. I know that's not his biggest passion. He has so many, he's such a great dude. He goes to Harvard, okay?
Wow.
Goes to Harvard, works at his dad's restaurant, Bob's Kitchen, shout out, Bob's Kitchen in Indio, and he's constantly doing stuff for his community. Like, that just shows so many different layers of how great he is to me, you know? How he can be a family guy, self-driven for success, and then about his community. Like, Pancho 2024 is all I'm saying.
Well, it could happen.
And he used his passion to help raise money for Nick, So there's always ways to find ways to help people.
Well, to use what you love and to give out,
Yeah.
just to help out.
Yeah.
That's really good, man. I appreciate you sharing all this with us. It's such a great message. I can't wait for people to hear this.
Yeah.
It's gonna be one of the greatest hits.
Yeah.
And this is great, great, great for people to hear. Great for people to um, maybe step out of their comfort zone
Mhm.
and really take that want a step further
Yeah.
and make it happen.
Yeah.
Thanks, bro, for coming out. I really appreciate you. Is there anything else I know you drop major bars and gems. It's wow. I couldn't you had me speechless, bro. I was just constantly like going into my brain and really analyzing, and I'm sure the listeners gonna probably replay this
Mhm.
because that was, I think, something came over you and and really spoke the truth, you know.
Yeah. I guess all I can say is that's a love seed, right?
That is, that
That's a
is.
love seed, dude, and hopefully it grows into something that the world needs.
Thanks, bro. I really appreciate you. I hope to have you back here for your next collection, and we can keep doing this and keep spreading that love, man.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank
We're
you.
out, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Drop.